Sorry, what did I always say? It is the 22nd of July, 2021, and I'm Commander Jantrax, and this is the Loose Screws podcast. Like it or not.
Kick this pig.
What?
Let's kick this pig.
Let's kick the
pig pinata.
The pig pinata. Tonight, I am joined by Chig, Dubs, and Hate. Everybody say hello at the same time.
Hello.
No.
Fucking Chig, you messed it up.
Guys, okay. We just had a pep talk off stage from
We have a stage?
We have a stage. That's what it is.
I thought it was
anyway.
Part of this live audience.
We had a pep talk. We had a pep talk right before we started recording, from just the cheeriest guy, whom we all love so much, because we just couldn't. We weren't sure what was even going to happen with this episode. There wasn't really any news going on, so we're going to talk about some faction stuff. Couple of us were screwing around with AFK builds, which was a thing a little while ago, but we did a little bit more on it. And I tried playing out as a new commander, so that was sort of fun. So anyway, let's talk about that. Let's tell some stories. What have you been up to this past week, Mr. Chig?
I haven't been playing Elite at all. I like the fact that, Dubs and you are working on AFK builds so you can play the game without playing the game. That's kind of awesome. I haven't played since we did the CQC night, a week and a half ago, or whatever. Right. That was good fun. It was just stupid fun. We were in Horizons. It all seemed to work, just fine. I won a bunch of matches, and that was fun. It's to see your progress on your flight assist off was impressive to see too. You're really getting that down. So
and I haven't given up on that either. My new commander has never turned flight assist on.
Good. Real life, I've been I'm in the unemployed phase, but I'm going through some training and working on some getting some licenses and certifications and crap like that right now. So I've been busy with that. That keeps me away from the game a bit. I've been playing some 7 Days to Die. I've been eating cheese. And I listened to last week's show. When you get to the end and you don't know what cheese to go, there's a very obvious one. Our sponsor, Craft Singles. Duh.
If you don't like it, fuck you.
Oh, exactly. Shit. Sorry, I wasn't ready.
I heard you struggling for a cheese, and I'm like, Craft Singles, dummy. So but
you
that's
it.
That's it for
Fuck
me.
you.
There it is.
There we go. Found it.
All right.
Cool. Well, so if I can be so bold as to summarize, 100% of the time you played Elite was fun.
Yes, 100%. Well, actually, I logged on the next. You know what? I absolutely just fucking lied. I did play the next night because we were trying to win a war, remember? And
oh yeah,
and I was playing
beat the shit out of those guys
in Odyssey that night for a few hours. Actually logged into Odyssey, did that, and then I went to play some CQC after that, and all of my Horizons keybinds had been erased again. So I'm like, "Fuck you, game," and that's kind of why I didn't play again for over a week, 8 days now since I played. Mm-hmm. So I did lie. I did play the day after so that we could win a war.
Yeah.
So, and that was fun too.
So 50% of the days you played Elite was fun. Oh, well, no, wait. Okay. Anyway, it was still a pretty good ratio. Okay.
Yes.
Dubs, how's Texas?
It is Texas.
Yeah. We don't live there, so we need a little more info.
It's hot. It's real fucking hot this time of year. Very humid, not enjoyable. But whenever I'm inside in the air conditioning, there's video games to be had. Let me think. I went fucking hard on the CZs at the beginning of the week. have been running the piss out of some BGS stuff, collecting a shit ton of bounties, and for the last 2.5 days, my Elite Dangerous has been running nonstop, and I might have touched the keyboard and controls for an hour of that because it's mostly AFK nonsense as I'm figuring out what works and what doesn't work. Trying to see if I can't get something put together that I can just leave in a has-res, but that's not going well.
Oh, that's way over the line.
No way. I would not way over the line. I'm doing it with a gunship. All right, so
we'll circle back to this. Because there's a lots to talk about in that. And actually, okay, Hate, what is up?
Lightning struck. And I have been all of Monday, my internal monologue was just me screaming at full volume. And
because
I went to bed hella early, and then I got up at 3 a.m. and got to Best Buy in Greenwood at 4:10 in the morning so that I could wait in line for 5.5 hours to get a NVIDIA 3070 Ti FE. They didn't exist, and now I own one.
Nice.
Awesome. And this completes a new build, right? Because you had other CPU and stuff laying around. Yeah.
Right.
Sweet. How is it?
Playing even old Elite at 1440 and 144 hertz at ultra settings is just the bee's knees, man.
There you go.
I reckon here in the near future, I'm going to have to go do some local sightseeing, though.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of said the only thing, so I had one thing that I'll talk about later. I did a stream that was sort of a fun, just vaguely interesting thing. And then last night actually got to play when I wasn't expecting to and tried to do some BGS work for us, doing some random running around. And I ran into this ridiculous narrow case. This thing happened. So I'm trying to prop a faction up out of retreat. And I went to do, I just took 2 missions quickly, went out, did them, came back, and the faction had retreated out of the system where I had to turn them in. So I'm actually sitting here with mission cargo and the mission's there, and they're not able to be turned in because the faction was gone when I got back because of how the tick has rotated around, and now it's happening at like right sort of in the middle of our playtime here in the our part of the country, and I don't know. I was extremely frustrated by that, but anyway, that's what's on my mind right now. But there's other stuff that we'll talk about a little later, and it's about the most interesting thing that I've done. So, on that note about BGS, what do you say we do some squad update?
Oh boy, I am prepared.
Incoming priority message. Squadron briefing.
That stupid sound didn't work, did it? Because I just realized I changed the setting. It started and then it didn't keep going. Oh my god.
It was like Craig, it tried.
Yeah, an attempt was made.
I set this stupid thing wrong. I'm gonna
it's
play
like
it
us.
again.
We're trying.
Yeah, I've tried so hard.
Incoming priority message. Squadron briefing.
You play that about 12 more times, we'll have a podcast.
Well, we'll have the regular length podcast. We're gonna fly through this one like some greased lightning. As Dubs was saying, and as we shouted during the last podcast, we had 3 wars that we were invested in 2 systems, and we won every one of the wars. Have instigated a secondary war between 2 other factions that aren't us, playing some very specific ping pong. But I'm not going to talk about where that is because we are noticing some players resisting us. if you want to learn more, join the Discord and get to know us some. We have accidentally fallen into an accidental expansion, as often happens, from V740 Cassiopeia. Me and Nurgle have looked around, and we have an idea of where we're going, but we're also trying to get several systems captured so they don't run away anymore. Thanks, Stubbs.
I'm trying, man.
Thanks to everybody that helped with CZs. We got big stuff in the near future. Mayakoro is going to expand as soon as we aren't being inhibited by an active expansion. So that'll be going where we want it to be going as well.
Sweet.
Yeah, and that whole cube is a little sloppy, but we have lots of extra time to get it taken care of.
Okay, that's good because I failed last night.
You tried, and that really is what matters.
Cool. Sweet. All right. I'm taking the long pause to mean that we're finished. We're finished with that. All right. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Sweet.
Next.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. So, Galnet, I understand that there's been, well, it looks like there was another news article today. So more federations are complaining that new drug business is going on. I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention to this, but there's a new community goal for the initiative to outfit the Far God megaship. So the whole Far God cult storyline is also coming back, and there's a community goal right now to help outfit them, and you can earn decals, which are not unique decals. Apparently, they're just the friends of their Xeno friend decals, which I guess they'll just give you for free, even though they're obtainable by ARCs. So
I don't even want those decals. In fact, I want to actively oppose this siege.
Well, you can do that in a way, can't you? If you really want to.
I want to do it without directly griefing another player.
You wouldn't be griefing. That's gameplay.
Gameplay.
Yeah,
griefing is going to Deciate and shooting down Sidewinders.
I guess you're right. I might troll around down there and just mess with people.
Let's do that. Let's put let's put fantastically engineered Sidewinder gank machines together.
Hold on, it's gonna be all flat cannons. That's or the flechette launchers, the one
flechette
for human
launchers.
ships. Yeah, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna roll in there with my Diamondback Scout with flechette launchers, just to mess with people.
Railgun sighty.
Yeah, I'll go with railgun sighty. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
I have an enforcer Sidewinder.
Bring in the Type 7 all enforcers.
It's ramming machine.
That's a terrible ship for all enforcers.
Yeah. I mean, the three small hard points on the bottom. Well, hold on. Give it some credit. It did take a direct impact with a high G planet going thousands of meters per second and didn't die instantly. So it's got some thick boy skin.
That's not the important part when you're trying to aim enforcers, though.
Thick boy skin.
Not.
All right. Anyway, that sounds fun. I do have a totally engineered Sidewinder that's terribly fun. Anywho, there was no news on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Streams happened, but they contained no news. They contained community stuff. If you're interested in community stuff, you should really tune in on Tuesdays because they do a lot of great screenshots and 3D prints and other artwork and stuff like that. Really cool. And today, Thursday, they played Odyssey in open, and they were joined by many commanders, some of whom were friendly. So I mean, whatever. Fun gameplay streams were had. So let's see. What should we do first? Let's talk about these AFK business that we've been doing. So how did this come up again? This was something that was shared by Hawks Gaming, I think, many moons ago, and then it sort of sat. But it came up again in Discord this past week.
I'll be completely honest. I don't remember why I did it. I think I was flying the Type 10 that day. Like I just happened to be in it, and someone said something. That may be what triggered it. But I was like, you know what? Let me see if I got a bunch of fucking turrets laying around. So I lazily slapped some turrets. I think I had 4 large beam lasers that were all engineered for like efficiency and lightweight and thermal vent. I was like, all right, good enough. I went ahead and bought some pulse and burst lasers at the local station. Didn't even bother engineering them. Threw a cargo rack on it. And I was like, all right, we're gonna see how successful this is. I didn't. I've never actually watched the Hawks video, so I have no fucking idea about the whole mission stacking. I wasn't trying to go like, let's make billions of credits. I was just like, hey, I just want to see how this works. And it works. It made, what was it? Like 40 or something, 40 million credits over like the night time and a couple hours into the day before I came home. So it wasn't like good money, but it was free. It was easy. I didn't have to do anything about it. But what really
the
sucked,
screenshot that you have is for 144 million credits.
That was the one from
That's different.
its last time. Yeah, that wasn't the Type 10.
Okay.
So the Type 10 was not as successful actually, because with the Type 10 I did it the way I think Hawks did it, if I remember what people were saying. Basically, you launch the SLF fights
Oh no, you don't use an SLF. No.
Oh, he doesn't? Okay, well I had an SLF.
Because SLF is likely to get shot down. So if you're just, so the way he describes it, I mean, whatever. I haven't watched the video in a long time, but I set it up basically sort of similar. I did my own version of the build, which I think is superior, but only because of just the specifics of what I had laying around and the way I like to engineer ships, I guess. But basically, you have bait in your cargo hold, you have point defense on the bottom of your Type 10, and you have turrets engineered for long range. And that's enough. And you've got to have a strong shield, So we found that basically we can make it solid. When he did it in his video, he lost in practice. Another reason. And I think my engineering is probably better. Biweave, lasers, job done. You set it basically 4 pips to systems and 2 to weapons, and walk away. Well, okay, so you may be able to get away with that. There was I felt like there were times when I was like risking losing the shield in the Type 10, and who cares, right? But you also have had some beam lasers on there where I had all pulses, so you do a little rearranging there. But the idea is the pirates come up to you. They see your hold and they say, give me 10 of whatever. And then they start shooting, and then your ship shoots them down. And you just sit there and gain bounties that way. And the cops help you. You have to do this in a low res. It does not work in anything higher than a low res because the ships are too strong.
Oh, yeah. I figured that out.
And they will blow you up.
So that's basically what I do then.
So that's the basic thing. And then you took it a step further.
Yeah. I guess the only real difference I made was I added an SLF bay. And I just had my SLF pilot hovering around me, joining in on the fun. And since she's an elite NPC, she was out there kicking ass. So,
all right.
But I did notice that whenever 4 and 5 NPCs would gang up all at once, the SLF didn't survive. And I did lose the Type 10 once, which meant that not only did I lose the almost 100 million credits that I had in bounties, but I also had to buy the ship back. So that was a waste with the Type 10. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I could redo this, or I could try something else. So I went ahead and I got in the fully engineered gunship that I have with all gimbaled pulse lasers. And it already had an SLF bay. Like literally the only thing I did was put a cargo rack, and I think I swapped out 2 of the shield boosters for point defenses. And what I do is I park in the low res, exact same way. I get inside the fighter and just sit there, and then I just set the pilot inside the gunship to attack at will or engage at will, and then that's it. She does a good job. And I think it went for like 48 hours straight with me not touching it and helping it. The only problem was I don't think anyone's actually identified what really caused it, but like the severe
bug.
performance drop. Like if you're sitting in an instance for more than probably 3 or 4 hours, I'm down at single digit frame rates when I'm normally running 90 to 100 and something. So,
yeah, and I had the same experience too, which is I think it's interesting that this was not mentioned in the Hawks Gaming video, and I wonder if something's changed in the last few months, because I noticed it too after just a few hours, and I started checking around. I asked Dubs, like, do you notice it in Horizons too? And I guess you had already checked that.
Yeah.
Because you had an answer right away. It happens to me in Horizons. It happens in Odyssey as well. It seems to happen to everyone who's tried it. And it isn't related to computer power. So it's not like there's something going on with the code that is causing it to use more and more GPU or something. My GPU usage actually went down. So it was like the number of frames being presented, like the game started asking fewer frames to be drawn by the computer is essentially how I am thinking about it, because my CPU and GPU usage were lower by like a third or half when this was happening. And it had my 3080 running flat screen, mind you, down into sometimes the teens of FPS, but it was like really intermittent, and it was very, very strange, and it was like not receiving button inputs. Sometimes you had to struggle to get it back. A simple menu log will fix it. So I guess we're thinking at this point, I mean, we don't know exactly what, but it seems sort of like this accumulative effect of the AI somehow might be just gunking up the engine that asks for the computer to draw things. It reminds me a little bit of the way the game would grind to a halt in, like, there was those couple of community goals where there was a lot of ships all around a station, and everyone was going in and out, and there was a ton of NPCs buzzing around, and they would cause everyone's FPS to go super low. I wonder if it's something similar where it's like the AI is bringing the engine. Like, I feel like the AI has a frame rate. It's not actual frames, but it's sort of like a tick rate, the way you used to talk about it in like game servers for Counter-Strike and stuff. I know they had a tick rate, right? So you have how many times per second the game updates where all the ships are.
That could be
Does that make
something
sense
similar.
to anybody?
But
something to that effect.
Yeah, whatever it was, the rest of the computer didn't give a shit. So, like, if I would click off of the screen, like when I came back after letting it run all night, and then the next work day, like, it was pegged at 1 frame per second. It just sat there, and every once in a while you'd see like the little blips on the radar move of like, all right, well, something's happening still.
But you weren't at 99% GPU or something.
I was like, I looked at my task manager, and the task manager was like, "What elite? What elite? No, that's not even asking for shit." It was barely there.
Yeah.
So something weird happened. But I just set up a macro that just relogged every 30 minutes, and boom, problem solved. Which I guess you can't say solved. I mean, it worked, but at the same time, I had to go through the process of setting up a macro to relog, which works fine because when you relog in the fighter, you reappear in the fighter already. Yeah,
and then your NPC remembers her orders.
No, I have a button set up to tell her to engage at will. So that's
you'd have to
literally
extend
the
hard
thing.
Points again too.
No, you don't have to. She'll do that. Yeah. If you are sitting in your ship, yes, you have to extend the hard points. But if your NPC is running
work if you're sitting in the ship, that your setup wouldn't work anyway. But yeah, so if you were doing the Type 10 version,
you would need to extend your hard points upon relog as well. But the way I'm doing it, it's a single button after logging in, tell the fighter to have at it. And I actually think this is definitely the superior way. Like, I am not going to go back to a turreted build because she's doing so much better in just a simple fucking gunship. I mean, it's not even a good ship. You could do this in like a Corvette or a Crate Mark II or something with a little more oomph. or a cutter. Right. So there are better options. I'm just like, hey, this ship's already here. It's already ready to go. It just needs a cargo rack and some point defenses.
Yeah, that's true. A crate would be a great choice with that massive distributor on a crate. It's like seriously overpowered. That's interesting. But you have an elite NPC.
Yeah. The elite NPC is probably one of the biggest.
Probably clutch.
Yeah, because I know like 80% of y'all probably just fire your NPC as soon as you're done with them. But no, I'm heavily invested into the NPC that I've paid 2 billion credits to, so I'm not getting rid of her. But yeah, I think that's about it for that.
Right.
Just get yourself a badass engineered ship. Let your pilot fly it.
Job done.
And
make with lasers. Yeah.
Yeah. With well, not right now. Odyssey replenishes your ammo when you relog. So
is it relog or Supercruise?
Relog. Relogging replenishes the railgun ammo she has. So whatever. Until they fix that bug, this is it.
Okay. All right. In that case, the other thing I was going to say is I tried out the new Commander experience because I have this Epic account that I had not done anything with. So I just did a stream on, I guess it was Monday, start to finish, not finish, but anyway, starting from scratch, including naming the commander and everything, and flew around doing the thing. The thing that I found, is pretty much like I expected. The missions are really simple in that starting area. There's not multiple rewards to choose from or anything like that. It's all just the money reward. And there's plenty of things like carting small amounts of cargo back and forth. There was a bit of finding something floating in space and bringing it back. And then the regular courier missions and stuff. I found pretty quickly that they started offering me combat training, which turns out to be just, they point you to this one system where they have two factions that are at war all the time. And you can go into CZs. And I was like, really? So they're going to send me into a CZ in this Sidewinder? I guess I could have bought a different ship, but there's no way to outfit a ship above D-rated in that starter area. Nothing sells anything over D-rated. And you got to be out there for quite a while before you can afford like any real size 2 guns. So I tried a low conflict zone in a D-rated Sidewinder with pulse lasers, and it didn't go great. I did get a few kills, but I ended up getting shot down. And tried it in a Viper with tried to outfit a Viper with the limited money I had. And so I guess the part that I think is weird is they encourage you to get into combat by pushing you into a conflict zone. And I think that's wrong and too early. And there's nowhere where, even if you took the time to get the money, there's nowhere for you to buy enough equipment for it to be reasonable, even for somebody with a pretty, I have an okay combat skill, and I wasn't really able to pull it off very well. I was hanging back and really relying on the other people in the conflict zone, which is, I guess, fine. But I just think if this is actually a new commander, that is not the correct way to introduce them to combat. So I thought that was strange. And the fact that you just can't buy anything better than D-rated is a shame, because it's a scary world, right? The whole point of this walled off system is to keep you in that space. So
would you say it's dangerous?
Wow. It got dangerous. The game wasn't particularly dangerous until I went into that conflict zone, and then it got dangerous real fast, because thing
there you go.
Is paper thin. But it wasn't. It was too big a skill jump. That's the thing about video games. If you keep your skill gradient correct, then your game can always be fun. But if you go from nothing's dangerous to, oh, there's 3 engineered ships chasing you, that's not fun. That was too much too fast. Send me into, or give me I mean, I guess there are those training simulator things you can do, but it never points you in that direction. You'd have to go looking for that. I was just surprised that they didn't like send me into a low res site first or something.
Yeah, you'd think. That's weird.
It was strange. It was strange. So anyway, I may, in a sense, it's sort of fun because you can't just do whatever you want. So it's a totally different way of playing. It was like, oh shoot, I'm not gonna, if I buy that size 2 frag cannon, I actually can't even afford the second one. And I probably can't afford the power plant that I will need to power the shields if I buy those shields, you know? So having to think about that sort of stuff again was kind of interesting. But obviously you basically have to get out of the starter area as soon as possible, or you hit a brick wall of outfitting. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try to stay in there because it takes no time at all to get a rank up just from running missions around. So anyway, that was the thing. I guess I may continue with it to see if it continues to be fun. I kind of have a feeling that by the time it gets to the point where I need to unlock a few engineers, I'm going to get awfully sad that I'm not on my regular commander and just switch back. But if I manage to stick with it, I would like to make an exploration alt for this guy, but we'll see. I named him Juntrix because that's what Stephen Benedetti called me one time. I guess he thought he should pronounce it. Juntrix with a U.
We all know it's JNT Rex.
It's JNT Rex.
Yes.
Yeah.
JNT Rex, I thought.
Anyway.
Jumbo nice titties Rex. Wait, what? Sorry, Daddy.
I hate every part of this.
So do I.
So, anywho, yeah, that's about that. I can't milk that for any more content. So, so there was you know what? I Hate, are you the one who picked out this for the notes?
Yes.
All right. I would love for you to hit me with this. I did watch this video, so tell me about it. Tell me what you want to talk about relating to it.
Galnet News Digest is covering all of the currently covered Azimuth timeline, and so far have released 3 different segments to get us caught up to where we are currently at. Following the Azimuth timeline, we still have 2 missing megaships. One being the Scrivener's Dredger and the Aegis Alexandria megaship. Both of them should have a range of 500 light years. According to canon, they may have a 590 light year radius.
Wait, why would they have more than 500?
The Gnosis used to.
Ah, okay.
And like obviously, all 3 of those are going to be absolutely packed full of spoilers. So if you're not caught up with the Azimuth timeline or story, watch at your own risk. But definitely do check that out. Commander Waterspoon and Beetle Jude are just doing a terrific job keeping us up to date with Galnet News.
Superb. Okay.
So
Nice.
reading into the current CG a little more, one of the things they're wanting to do is send one of their megaships out into the black to talk to the Thargoids. I'm actually kind of interested in what that might do. That sounds interesting. That might lead to something. That could lead to something if they send their megaship into one of those permit locked areas and we get some story out of it. Who knows?
Well, sure. If nobody else can go, if they're setting up the story that way, if it's coming from FDev, then we might actually get somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see.
We'll see. Do we have to do anything for the CG to make that happen?
Well, they're currently sitting at 3% for the deliveries and 0 for the combat side of it. So, with a whopping 371 people supporting the delivery, how long has this even been going on for? When did it start?
12 hours.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
they start Thursdays.
It might do it. We'll see.
Well, yeah, I mean, so that's the trouble, right? Is people in real life, people work for CGs more for the rewards than for the story aspect, even though sometimes there might be story stuff that is important, and they're still claiming that there's stuff that is in the story that happens or not based on our actions in things like community goals. So I don't know, we could, by ignoring things because the reward isn't worthwhile, we could be missing out on bits of story, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So if they don't complete these, if they don't even complete tier 1, do they not get a mega ship?
I don't know. Because there's multiple mega ships apparently, and I guess depending on what it gets to, maybe that'll change what happens.
See if I can find it. Community goals.
Says each completed tier will ensure the outfitting of 1 mega ship that will commence the operation on the 5th of August. So since there are how many tiers? 5 tiers. Does that mean there's 5 mega ships?
There could be.
Well, we'll see. That would
if we complete 120.
I mean, I'm still going to kill the shit out of Thargoids. I just want them to. I just want to support these crazy idiots sending their mega ships down there to talk to them.
They want 120 billion in bounties.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. How's about the 30 million? What is this? 30 million tons of
30 million tons
membrane. Yeah, that's way more doable by
especially
commanders.
Since you can do them, 750 at a time.
Yeah, or with a fleet carrier,
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, I don't know. I am not gonna have the time to go into something like that. I just know. Fortunately, I think we're up against a little bit of like player enthusiasm too, because whoever is here is probably messing around with Odyssey stuff instead of doing this.
The reason I'm here is for the BGS and to test out these builds. Like they're gonna have to do something to convince me that I actually want to play the rest of the game. So,
right. Yeah, the BGS is really the only thing really keeping me interested.
Like that is music to my ears, gentlemen.
Well, it is, except I wanted it to be something else. I wanted this new commander thing to be interesting, or I wanted something, there should be lots of stuff. There used to be lots of stuff. I used to be torn about it.
Yeah, let me fist fight people in the cargo bay of my ship.
I for real, like
you're not supposed to talk about that.
Even on Monday, like I wasn't sure if I was like, should I do this, or I don't know, would I have more fun if I just played a different game? Like I wasn't, up till just a few minutes before, I was like, I don't know. And then I did the thing and it was sort of fun, but I don't know if right now I'm sitting here going, I don't know if I'm going to go back to that epic account.
You played 2 different games. You're allowed to do that.
I know, but that's a humongous difference. And it's anyway. So let's move to this thing. So Drew Wagar got us all thinking a bit with a video. How would I fix Elite Dangerous? Drew's view. So it was suggested that we tag these points briefly and then we can just talk about it. So he basically broke it down into 6 sections: short-term triage and critical issues and bugs, planned dates for what is he abbreviating?
Elite Dangerous, Odyssey, Horizons, and console integration.
The reintegration. Okay. A real roadmap is number 3. Okay. Laser focus on fun rather than grind. revisiting communication and acknowledging criticism, and then engaging with player expertise and knowledge. So how do you guys want to approach this? Because he has his opinions and he lays them out. And I assume we have variations of those, or certain parts of it that stuck out to you or made you think of other things. Like, let's open it up. Anybody?
Yeah, this is great podcasting. We've been talking about this stuff since it launched. I like that he's trying to, present fixes rather than just complaining about what's broken and everything else. So that's a good step forward. And I could see, discussing ways to fix things, but every time you're talking about ways to fix things, you're just bringing up what you're disappointed in, and it just sounds like more complaining. Even though this isn't intended as that, it just comes off as that, and I'm just fried on the whole thing.
Okay. Let's say, hey, did you have some thoughts about this? Because I'd love to hear them.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just stick my foot right in my mouth. Engaging with player expertise and knowledge.
Yeah.
You and I, most of the community has probably watched a YouTube video about an actual astrophysicist that plays Elite Dangerous. Is that what that number 6 topic there is about? Or are we talking about like logistics managers and stuff like that?
Are you asking like what he brought up at that point?
Yeah. I only watched the beginning of that video. And
he was speaking pretty generally, but just that there is a wealth of untapped knowledge. The way I took it is like many of us have played this game a lot more than a lot of the devs have, and that point kind of gets argued a little bit sometimes, especially on streams. Like, oh no, we play the game. But I especially agree with Drew on this particular point, because everything that has changed with Odyssey from what it was in the alpha to what it is now, including the plant gun thing, the menu systems and the way that they happened and then got reconfigured. All of that could have been easier and done sooner if they'd involved the community. So obviously it's all stuff because they've already changed it. I'm not guessing whether they would change it. They have now changed it. So they could have done that sooner and probably easier without wasting a bunch of dev time on doing it the way that it doesn't eventually stay if they share it with us in proper alpha phase, or even in just videos and stuff like that. Like, here's what we're working on. Give us your feedback. So that's what I think. I think it's much more general. We're not just talking about like a specific person, but the people who actually use the game. I mean, to think that the way that they changed the outfitting menu around so everything took more clicks, that is an example of something that was designed and never tested by somebody who was used to playing this game. It couldn't possibly have been, because instantly everybody said, oh, this is harder than it used to be, and adds no features or value for being harder. So that's just one example, but that's something they don't do. They don't ask for our feedback about things until they're done, and then the plant gun thing happens. Right?
All right. Now I'm caught up. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely could see people arguing back and forth about whether or not, there are players who play more than the dev team, albeit some players are unemployed and the dev team does have to actually work the game. So literally arguing back and forth. I'm sure. Am I sure? I really want to believe and have faith that there is an internal test team that probably wrote that down somewhere on a ticket and said, this isn't this isn't 100%, Chief. And then it got sat on their desk and then got coffee spilt on it. And then
maybe.
And then it never got, anywhere that wasn't, up to par for full release. Asterisk. I definitely am glad console release has been pushed back so that we can work on squishing these bugs so that when it gets to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, it'll be in a more ready to play state. Obviously, in flat screen, someone with a 3080 and an i9 10th gen CPU on a PC with adequate care taken of it can just have enough hardware to brute force the code to behave better than my old, FX 6300 and 660 Ti weren't going to be able to do. And on benchmarks, that old FX 6300 and MSI 660 Ti should outperform a base model Xbox One and should have been able to be within parameters to play Odyssey, and it was not. Even super sampling down to half was not a pleasurable experience. They've made leaps and bounds to make it better, and hopefully the dev team feels good about it when they do actually release it, and not just the board members feeling good about it. And I really feel like I'm being negative, and I really mean to be positive. Delays suck. There's no way to get around it. Delivering unfinished product or being forced to deliver partially finished product, it sucks.
Sucks more.
It
just
must feel horrible.
Yeah, I feel bad for the dev team. I feel bad for the investors who thought they were doing the right thing when they pushed it out.
I don't feel bad for investors. Screw those guys. They caused this.
Well, at the same time, they broke Steam concurrent player records on a very niche game.
They did do that, but imagine what those records would have continued to do if the game had been good.
We're down to pre
they had this
levels.
They had this really awesome spike, but that spike ended terribly.
Well, it brought about
very quickly.
It brought about a very bad PR statement from them.
Yeah.
I
don't feel bad for anyone who is in the decision chain to make this the way it is.
They're definitely going to be paying for it, literally and figuratively, and probably for a while. And what I'm not going to refund Odyssey. I'm going to be quite frank. I haven't played it very much. I've got a new graphics card, and I haven't even used the launch to launch Odyssey yet. I don't yet have a tremendous reason.
Do you want to know
aren't sturdy
why?
enough.
The reason I launch Odyssey over Horizons is because the explosions are prettier. That is my number one reason.
You've swayed me.
That is it. The explosions are better.
The booms be better.
The graphics. Yeah.
Yep.
So, so let's refine this a little bit then. Thinking about the parts where he was talking about focus on fun rather than grind and things like that. Like, what would you change about the way this is aligned? And I'm specifically thinking about the way not the game mechanics that Odyssey adds, like, because I believe that the on foot stuff, being able to walk around on foot was a necessary step, but the game that was built around that to sort of justify it, because there has to be some gameplay, it can't just be a sandbox, apparently. So the gameplay that they created around that seems to be pretty well 100% grind for the sake of itself, right? All you do on foot is get materials to upgrade your on foot stuff, which affects nothing else. So there's never a reason to get out and go on foot except to get out and go on foot again. So it's like except for it being fun on its own, right? So that's what I think Drew is meaning when he says focus on fun rather than grind. Like the grind level was added, but is there anything fun to do instead of grind? What do we think? I don't have it, so I'm trying to pull conversation out.
I haven't played enough. Okay, go ahead.
I went through the process of fully upgrading my Maverick suit, my plasma sniper rifle, and the plasma pistol, and it fucking sucked. It was trash. I hated it, but I did it. And that's essentially what it was go to this location and relog at some crashed fucking satellite for the next 2 hours to get the manufacturing instructions. Go to a freaking, I think there was like 3 different sites I had to go to. And it's like, all right, just start hopping in and out of Supercruise to collect a bunch of materials. And, there's always the argument is like, oh, well, you can just not relog and just play the game as it's intended and upgrade as you go. It's like, all right, but what am I going to do? Like, I don't.
Yeah, so that's exactly my question. Like, what are you doing in the meantime? Like,
there is nothing. Like, you're literally just going to collect the materials, and like the missions are, go kill some pirates at a shut down facility. But once you've done it once, you've done it as many times as you will ever need to, because that's not fun. You just go to a fucking ground CC. It's the same thing. I don't know. The on foot doesn't have a lot for me at the moment.
If now that you upgraded the whole suit, have you gone back to it?
No, I have no reason to. What am I going to do? Go gather more materials?
In order for that gameplay loop to function better, if Odyssey's new ground-based missions were a different lever for the BGS, and you could target specifically in-system factions, so you wouldn't have to leave the system, which I really think should be more difficult when you're on foot. I think there should be a much larger surcharge for Apex Interstellar when you do an interstellar job. That way the game works harder to try and keep you in system. If we could just target in system factions, I would be in Ross 310 in Odyssey targeting us right now.
Yeah, right.
We own everything already. Might as well go out there and reduce our influence so we don't accidentally expand. But right now that would be working from Bumper or from Rukba into Ross 310 or from somewhere else to Ross 310. And then there's 3 or 4 places that we don't own in system. So that even then that loop isn't quite right.
Can you imagine a way to make it right, to make it work in a fun way that would have a worthwhile result?
Good question.
He's no answer. Hey, any ideas?
Gathering myself.
Okay.
Because my monkey brain go hit server with hammer. Obviously, there are parameters that they could adjust at FDev that would probably make in-system missions easier to find. But to make those missions funner,
yeah, I think that's the more important part, don't you?
Yeah, make the mission fun.
The kill people in settlements missions could be kill a certain volume of a settlement, or for a premium, kill more people in that settlement. That way you could do it faster. They could staff more people at the settlement or drones. They could make it so that you could kill people from your ship.
I mean, I don't know about killing from the ship, but the kill missions you do have where it's like, hey, go execute this one guy. It's like, all right, I walk up in there with my plasma rifle, I pop him in the back of the head, and I haul ass.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Right?
But, I mean, do you enjoy that?
No, I mean once or twice, yeah, it's kind of cool. Like I've always enjoyed games with like the stealth mechanics, and you sneak up and you do like you snipe somebody, but it doesn't feel that way in this one. It's not quite the same as other games I've played. So I don't know. Maybe they just got a ways to go. Maybe we just need to be patient. It is possible that there is a lot more planned that just didn't come because the developers didn't have the time because some penny pinching asshole decided he wanted it done this way.
Now, just on the side of this, where he talks about grind, and that's not just Odyssey, that's Horizons. It's always been a complaint. Like look at AX pilots. To solo the bigger interceptors, you need so many synth mats. So their gameplay that they want to do to have fun is be killing Thargoids. But they're always having to go out to the Crystal Forest to resupply their mats all the time and stuff. What's the fun in that? I think
even worse for AX, they have to go to the Guardian sites.
Yeah. So, I mean, they really need a way, they need multiple ways to get some of this stuff. And I mean, I was thinking, just like, especially on like the AX stuff, why not have the heart tradable for mats? Whoever you kill a Thargoid, you get a bunch of mats for turning to get into some, Thargoid Heartbroker or something where you can get these mats that you need. So if you're able to get the mats by doing what you enjoy, so you can keep doing what you enjoy, just things like that, having multiple ways of getting these things instead of right now, it is just massive repetition. You're doing the same thing over and over. I think Nurgle was coming back from the Crystal Shard sites because that's just something you have to do once in a while. If you want to have ships and you want to do anything with any synthing of anything, you're gonna have to make that 2,000 light year trip out to the shard sites because there's no other efficient way of doing it. And if you're playing Odyssey, you have to log into Horizons to do it that way. You can't do it in Odyssey anymore. So I don't know. They just need to give us multiple paths to get grinding done would reduce that side of it so you can just go do what you find fun.
I still think that engineering was a mistake and completely ruined the combat of the game, because before you had to balance a ship and you had to build it certain ways, and then engineering came out, and there's such a strong fucking difference between no engineering and G5. It would be one thing if the engineering effects changed the way modules and weapons and stuff worked and gave you little advantages, but also drawbacks. And it'd be cool if there was a reason to take different engineering routes, but no, everybody does the same thing to all of their equipment.
The Fer-de-Lance used to be a good ship. It wasn't the best ship, but once you got a power plant in it that you could have the best of everything, it just didn't matter anymore. You didn't have to make any tough choices, and that's what engineering did.
You literally can't compete with someone's ship if theirs is G5 and yours is not. Even if you're a good pilot, you're just going to get fucking smoked.
Yep, no chance.
I don't like engineering because of that. I feel like there should be more options in outfitting to where hey, I get a different type of pulse laser with this engineering mod to where it changes the way it operates, so I have to fight differently, but I can use that to counter or, fight differently. But it shouldn't be such an insane change that the person with the stock module doesn't stand a chance.
Exactly. I agree.
And the amount of grinding it takes to get to that point is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so it sounds you're setting up two separate issues. So one of them just the basic idea of engineering
wasn't done right.
I'm not opposed to I'm not so opposed to there being a big power gradient, because I think that tends to something's going on upstairs. Okay, anyway, later, dog. They be quiet, please. They I've lost my train of thought now. They've any game that's around kind of long enough and has players involved long enough, it's fun to feel progress, right? And in this game, like progress really is about being able to build more different ships. I think. Do you guys think I'm onto something there?
Yeah, building more in different ships would be nice.
More gameplay loops probably going to be what stimulates us needing more ships.
Yeah, but how do they take back what they've already fucked up?
Well, that's the other thing. Is it they're not going to be able to give back engineering?
Took away VR.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. So okay, but right, that's a common, like the thing that Dubs was expressing is I've heard from plenty of smart people say that being a much more of a rock paper scissors kind of switch. CQC is like this. You can change the loadouts of the ships you're flying with, but you're trading an advantage for a disadvantage in another area. So yeah, it could have been that way. It's not. So, but then the other thing you're bringing up is about the grind, and I think again, grind happens to massive multiplayer games like this as a general rule, and it's like a tool for synthetically changing the length of the game, the length of time you can play the game before you've done everything. But like this game doesn't, so how would I fix that is what I'm trying to get to as I'm thinking out loud here. It's there's no end game in Elite. Do we need it to be like that? Because the thing that we're doing for fun is making our own fun. It's forging our own path, like they're always saying, right? So I'm not following a set storyline. I'm not following the main quest and doing some tangent quests in the meantime, right? I'm doing whatever I want to do, or we're just working with the faction and we're exploring who knows what. So do I need something artificially making me spend more time in the game? Does that really sell arcs? Right? Or arcs buy cosmetics for ships. So would they sell more arcs if it actually only cost one biotech conductor to fully engineer my drives? And it was much easier to get, and I could engineer them very quickly.
I don't know if I agree with easier to get. Like, I agree with it taking less mats. Like, instead of making me farm 80 fucking manufacturing instructions to upgrade a single suit, make it to where I only need one to apply the unique engineering modification, but depending on the route I go is, what I'm going to use it for, and like the rock paper scissors thing. But just make it to where you don't just go out there and get it instantly. Like, make it to where this is a hard item to acquire, but hey, you only need one.
Well, I think that's kind of what I was saying. I didn't mean like you can find biotech conductors laying around anywhere, but if it costs one to engineer one set of drives.
Yeah, but it's just really hard to get them. Yeah.
That makes sense. Right. And that would be, so then I have a task, but I'm not having to repeat the task for no reason. But it's still a task that I have to do in order to get that unlock. Like the engineer unlocks probably, I don't know, maybe they could use some attention, but that seems less onerous, and you're going through a whole sequence of things like that it does feel very progressing through a storyline. I'm not saying I'm anxious to go do it again, but that was actually a good way of it gets you into every little part of the game. Like I had never tried mining, but I had to get some engineers, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually fun, So I think that's okay.
I don't want to interrupt there, but I was just thinking when you're talking about that, because like the ship engineering, it's always such a pain in the ass because you got to hop around to all the different engineers to get your experimentals and stuff. You can only pin so many things. I'm wondering if the limiting us to 120 modules is in part to make sure we have to keep doing that. We can't just have 500 modules stored so we can just put together whatever ship we want super easily. We have to do that grind.
Or make it to where you don't have to store all the modules before swapping them on ships. Make it to where I can click, hey, this is the loadout I want, and if the module isn't available and it's on another ship, give me the option to just remove it from that other ship in the menu and apply it to the new ship. You know what game does do that? Star Citizen. If that module's another ship, it tells you, and you can take that motherfucker off that other ship.
Yeah.
That's probably fine gameplay, because who cares? Like, what? So actually, yeah. What is the point of making us go through the menu system of taking it off one chip and putting it on another, unless it's so that we'll grind more to be able to get more? I mean, there's still a convenience factor of having enough that all your ships can be outfitted. The problem, I think, really is still centered on any time where it's most advantageous for you to menu loop. Like, I don't think the crystal shards are such a bad thing, but if you have to menu loop, then it's not great, right?
No, menu logging is the absolute worst. I do it because it's the fastest way, but they should not make that the fastest way.
So what's the solution? I think a possible solution is just, why do these recipes take so many of these? If they didn't, if it really did just take like one of a thing, then you wouldn't have to menu loop. You'd still have to go through the process of getting it, even if then that might mean going out to a Guardian site or something, but you wouldn't have to menu loop.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Or it could be like, hey, like, you need to find this specific item. Like, hey, I need exquisite focus crystals. All right, you need to go find a faction in control of a high-tech fucking station, and they're going to grant you some special missions that might grant you that item that you need for that engineering, and you got to go hunt it around. I mean, yeah, it's still going to take you a little bit of time, but it's not going to make me want.
But you're playing the game that whole time.
Yeah, it's not going to make me want to beat my forehead on the fucking keyboard.
Yeah, and if I find a high-grade emissions, like, I should be able to engineer, like that should be all the G5s I need. I shouldn't have to menu log there at that.
If I can set up a macro to do it, you done did it wrong, guys.
Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about in here? Those are
we're
my
beating
big
the hell
things
out of it at this point. Yeah,
like the grind could be better. Engaging with player communications, so this other part that he says about revisiting communication and acknowledging criticism. I think that's just general communication stuff, right? But the theme of it still is like, stop pretend. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say stop pretending that everything's fine, because I don't think they are. So
they're not publicly expressing it as well as, or I don't know. Maybe they're just not showing us what's going on inside.
I almost think that those are the two sides of the same coin: engaging with player expertise and then acknowledging the criticism. Like, obviously, every time they talk to us, they're saying, "We understand you're all frustrated." So clearly, that can't be what Drew means, or won't be the change that makes things better. But we can help, and that is totally untapped. I think that was kind of the biggest thing there. I don't agree that we need specific dates for things. I think Drew makes a salient point about that, saying that player groups can't really schedule major events like Distant Worlds 3 because they have no idea what or when anything is going to happen.
Putting a date really crunches down on the devs like that.
Putting a date has fucked them before. Yeah. And the fact that they set, May 19th was a date, and it wasn't correct. So I don't know. I don't see how putting a date would not make me more confident. If they set a date, I would not become more confident that they'll have it done by that date. That's just not the way I would react to that right now because of the history of what's happened in the last year. So I don't think that's important personally, but I would like a real roadmap. I would like to know short-term, mid-term, long-term goals / features. I would like that outlined. I think that is totally reasonable. And even if it changes as they go, even if a long-term thing around the time it ought to turn into a mid-term thing, and then they go, oh, actually, this is harder than we think. We're going to swap it around for that. Like, whatever, just keep it fluid. I want to know what's going on. And that makes me know that they're actually working on something, and it's not, we don't know what's happening, why textures are repeating.
Yeah. They could at least share with us, like, screenshots and videos of the development process. And, like, I don't even care if it looks bad. Like, hey, I see it.
Yeah. They clearly do.
Yeah, show me your absolutely terrible failure of what ship interiors are right now. At least I'll know you're trying. Like, I don't care if it is broken. Like, as long as it's there and there's progress. Like, otherwise, I'm sitting here thinking,
do you think they're working on it on ship interiors?
I don't know. I really fucking hope so. And there's no reason to believe they wouldn't want to, because it was, one of the things that was talked about way the fuck back when during the Kickstarter and shit.
Literally saying that they don't want to.
Yeah, I know. That's
because that's the thing. Like, you want communication, but what communication we have is they're saying that is not being worked on.
Yeah, like, hey, yeah, we're just not doing that. It's like, well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, but there's no gameplay there. Why would they do it?
Well, they're saying it for a reason that's a lie. That sucks.
Yes.
I will say that is a lie, and I'm very
lie.
I understand about sensitivity to that word, and I have complained about people using that word. It's obvious that particular thing is the reason for why is a lie, because we still walk from the turbo lift to our ships. So that's it. There it is. There's game that has no gameplay. It serves no purpose except to soak up time. So saying that it's not fun to walk from the back of your ship to the cockpit wouldn't be fun, and that's why we didn't put it in, is a lie. So
it's really fun? Menu logging to get 80 manufacturing instructions. That's fucking worth it. But no, I totally don't want to walk from my cockpit seat to the back of my ship.
Those aren't the same thing, though, because they would say, well, you don't have to menu log. You can just go do another mission and get them more slowly. But anyway, the fact that sections of the game exist just to slow you down, just to take up some time for the sake of realism, like walking from the turbo lift to the blue circle.
Yeah,
but walking from the blue circle to your
sucked.
Yeah, not from. But saying that is in the game, which means they must think that there is gameplay there, is the insinuation. But then walking from the blue circle to the cockpit, there's no gameplay there. Well, that's the same thing. That's it. That's the end of the conversation. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And then the fact that obviously, whether it's ready now or not, they could put gameplay in there. So I hope that they do. I hope that they do put ship interiors, and maybe they'll satisfy their own goals by adding gameplay by then. But to say that right now it's not in there because there's no gameplay is BS.
I mean,
it's not in there now because they didn't take the time to draw them.
Yeah, they could have said, hey, it's not being worked on right now because we have bigger fish to fry. It may be time. But to just say, no, we're not doing it because there's no gameplay there, it's like, yeah. I'm going to go play Star Citizen.
I was watching the stream today, and I pulled it back because, like, who cares, right? But I was like furiously typing for a second because it just popped into my head, like, there's no gameplay of ship interiors, and then I'm watching them get out of their ship and walk over to the turbo lift, and then get out of the turbo lift and walk back to the ship. And I was like furiously typing. So what's the gameplay here right now? This scene. What are you doing here that's fun? That wouldn't be, you know what I mean? But then I deleted it because I don't need to.
You don't want to attack the CMs. It's not
well, they're gonna ignore it. They're playing. They're not answering questions right now anyway. And it's like, who am I? I'm trying to show off for the other people in chat. Like, give me a break. So, yeah, that was
Wait, no, you type something on the internet, it changes the world. Get on that.
Okay.
David Raven personally reads every single one of those messages.
He's a busy man. All right, guys. Is there anything else we want to put in this show? Did you want to do that event that we talked about?
Which one? Pokemon fighting our SLF pilots?
No, not Pokemoning the SLFs. There was talk about doing a like a small ship squad, Piranha squad fighting.
I'm game.
Yeah, would you guys be up for that on Tuesday?
Tuesday? Yeah, sign me up. I'll be there.
Okay. All right. So let's say Loose Screw is doing another event on Tuesday, which is going to be what date? Show me a calendar, computer. Tuesday the 27th.
Oh, never mind. I won't be there. That's Izzy's birthday.
Oh, come on. She can join in.
Should we move it? Should we move it to Monday? Monday might be better for me anyway.
I'll do it Monday.
Let's do it Monday. Yeah, let's do it Monday.
I think I could probably come Monday. So let's do Monday the 26th. And I thought you were totally kidding, by the way, when you said, "Oh no, never mind."
Oh yeah, no. All of a sudden, when you said the date, it's like, oh, never mind. That's kind of a thing. Yeah.
All right.
I know we're putting this together ad hoc on air. Do we want to do it in Rust 310, Alex and Dryness, or on Tomy?
That's up to you, BGS man.
Is there going to be any PvP involved? That would change it.
Would it change it?
I guess we could all turn off crimes. I mean,
Yeah, we'll turn off crimes.
Those systems have resource extraction sites owned by us.
Okay, well, I don't care. It'll be in one of them. All right, 310. I think that's where my carrier is right now anyway. So on Monday the 26th, we'll plan to do that. Small ships only. I'm going to get something fun.
Yeah, small, no medium.
Something small, no mediums.
No large hard points.
I'll be there, my Sidewinder.
No vultures then.
I'm in back
large hard points. Yeah, because there's nothing my vulture can't kill, so that's not fun. I'll get something on the smaller side.
Are we going to make an exception for the DBX because it has a large hard point?
No large hard points.
Damn. Okay.
No ships with large hard points at all. Let's do that. Because we want it to be Piranha Squad. Yeah. Even the Vulture or the DBX, they're heavy hitters when you load them up. For sure.
Yeah, you're right.
We want to swarm things and take them out. Other tactics. Change the tactics up. Let's do something different.
You want to change them up even further? No engineering. Yeah.
So Monday the 26th.
No after flying that new commander shit with D-rated thrusters for a while, I don't want to do any more no engineering. The boost flag. Oh my god, you guys! Please, if you haven't experienced engineering, engineer your thrusters.
Back when I first started playing the game, and it was like, yo, I'm really struggling right now. I can barely afford this C-rated power plant. those were actually fun times.
Okay. All right. Monday the 26th, be there as usual around 7 Central and be in Loose Screw space, and we'll get together and we'll do some fun stuff. We'll make multiple wings if we have to. Hopefully we will have to. Yeah. And maybe we'll do PvP stuff because that's always fun. But we'll do some Haz-Res and stuff too. I want it to be available to all levels and stuff like that and not have to be too controlled. So, okay. Sounds good.
Yep.
Anything else?
For anyone that's curious, my AFK fighter has earned 11 million credits during the time span of the show.
Nice.
That's a really good rate. That is a lot better than the AFK Type 10 builds.
Yeah, but sure. I mean, I also had no missions accepted, none of that nonsense. Like, she's just straight up murdering criminals. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right.
Well,
I got a cheese if you want.
Yeah, hit me.
All right. Well, first, a movie anniversary that was today that I thought, well, it was a couple days ago, but this week, 25 years ago, Train Spotting came out. So that's before Ewan McGregor was Obi-Wan, he was in Train Spotting. Completely insane movie. Addict. 25 years ago, where somebody literally shit the bed. But you guys fans of that movie? Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah,
I've seen it, but I don't know if I'm a huge fan.
Oh yeah, it's fucking a crazy baby. Good God, yeah, good movie.
Is that the one with the baby on the ceiling? Yeah, my wife hated that scene.
But if you're freaked out by babies, or if you are really bothered by bad stuff happening to babies, do not watch that movie.
She knew that happens in that movie. All I said, what I just said there, she overheard it and said "fucking Train Spotting." She knew.
25 years old this week. No. All right, Cheese. Before Teflon gave us the great pep talk, he was bugging me about what the cheese was going to be. Then he started looking up insanely expensive cheeses. So this is going to be the first time it's a cheese that I haven't had. But I was looking at these cheeses. It's up to $500 a pound to purchase this cheese. You're going to find out why here. It's not a bag of cheese. It's nothing like that. But it's called moose cheese. This cheese is literally from, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of the town in Sweden that it comes from, but it's 4 varieties of cheese from the milk from 3 sibling moose. They literally milk these moose. The 3 moose were abandoned by their mother and adopted by this family in Sweden. Their names are Gulen, Helga, and Juno. And they milk them to make cheese. That's the reason it's so expensive.
And it's just these 3 moose.
Just these 3 moose that only, let's see, they lactate for only a few months a year too. So it's rare to get this cheese. So yes, I did not even know that people milked moose. So this is crazy to me, and I would definitely try it. I'd want some. I think I don't know. I find it really weird to get the milk from an animal that I know the name of, and then eating the cheese. I don't know why that's weird to me, but it is. But that's this week's cheese is moose cheese. Stay cheesy.
Moose cheese, and the moose cheese from these 3 apparently.
Three very specific cows. Yes.
What happens when these 3 die? Like, is that cheese no longer? Are they going to get 3 more?
Well, in order to lactate, they would have to.
I don't know.
More cows.
Well, they lactate from May through September, producing 5 liters of milk daily. I don't know if that's per cow or total between the 3.
That's a lot of milk. Wow.
Well, they're fucking moose.
I looked up that moose live 15 to 25 years. So yeah, it's a limited run, this particular cheese.
Wow.
If you think, I mean, whatever.
If they're saying they only get it from these 3, then when they're done, then somebody else somewhere else can have 3 more moose, and they'll make their cheese out of that.
Well, that's
we need to GoFundMe for Chig to eat this cheese.
I could GoFundMe so Chig can get moose cheese. I'm on board. Make it so.
All right.
$500 a pound. Good God. All right.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that cheese. Thank you for joining me. Actually, wait, I'm going to do this part. If you like the show, please rate and review on your podcast app or on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, YouTube is fun. Do it. It's good. Join us on Discord at discord.io/loosescrews and check out our merch store at loosescrewsed.com. There is cool stuff there. Thanks for listening. I think this turned into a podcast. So,
good job, everybody. More than I thought it was going to.
Good job, team.
Good job, guys.
Yeehaw.
All right. Thanks for joining me, Chig, Dubs, and Haterade. Thanks for sticking in there, recording robots, and we'll see you next time. Stay loose and stay very, very, very screwy.
Bye-bye.